The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town singing. Whoa. I think there's something in the water. If you wanna take a sip, but be careful what you wish for. The faint of heart can't handle it. Everybody wants a piece of someone else's prize, but it ain't free, it don't come cheap. Only the strongest will survive. You ain't seen nobody like this. You ain't seen nobody like this. You hear my sound all over town.
Good evening and welcome to SA Soccer Roundtable. My name is Harry. Joining me from somewhere deep in Texas, Rafa, where are we at this evening?
Live from Laredo, Texas. It's not as cold as over there.
It's cold. It's cold. So tonight on tonight's agenda, high schools. We did TAPS the preview on Monday?
Tuesday.
Sorry, it's all kind of blending in. Tuesday. Tonight we're doing UIL. We're going to look at the standings. I actually had some opportunity to kind of go through for Region 4 only, kind of go through and take a look at the brackets, both for D1, D2, from 4A to 6A. So depending on the time frames, we'll go through that. We do got to go through 5A because we have not done 5A at all. And I don't think we've touched a lot of the girls' brackets either. So tonight, since we're not doing anything TAPS related, standings are kind of getting where they're kind of set in stone. So we're going to go through that, and we're going to kind of get started on the let's see here if I can figure this out here. If it's going to load here. I gotta get this set up here. Go up to the first page here. Get our bracket here. We'll do it this way. And slideshow. And then transition. All right. So winter soccer standings, 24-25. I will say StreamYard had a lot better setup than EV Mux for this here, so it's a little bit more cumbersome to do, but we'll get it done here. We're going to start with 4A. Real quick, District 25, Northeast, Austin Achieve. Seems like they're pretty safe. Burnett, Lago Vista, and Durrell, and Austin LBJ's kind of sneaking into the picture for that here. Any thoughts on 25 for the boys?
I think the only news from there was that Austin Achieve did beat Northeast 4-1, so they're tied for the district lead. So no slip ups. So here, whoever wins the district title, they can't slip up. So more than likely they'll probably end up splitting the titles, but that last spot's going to come down. Like I said, Lago Vista is going to have to hold off Gerald and Austin LBJ. So it's because it's already kind of the swinging things in the second half of the season for them. So we'll see what happens there.
District 25 for the ladies: Burnett's 11-0, Lago Vista, Gateway, Northeast, and then Austin, Travis, Durrell through there, but. Barring some collapse from Northeast It seems like the top four is kind of set, and really, it's going to come down to, like Lago Vista and Gateway. I guess the interesting thing, who finishes runner up, who finishes in first place, for there. But this one seems like it's kind of set in stone.
Yeah, I think Burnett's pretty much has this district title in hand. I know they still got a couple games left, um, but I think they have full control. Lago Vista and Georgetown, pretty much, they're going to be fighting who can get for the top seed for Division Two. So and that could come into play. That could matter as far as within the brackets.
And then for District 26 for the boys, Davenport 3-0-1, Fredericksburg 3-1, Marble Falls 2-1-1, Bandera 2-2, Wimberley a surprise at 1-3, Canyon Lake 0-4.
Yeah, that's if you saw it in the beginning of the district play, Davenport didn't have the nicest records, but I think what they did, like I said, they challenged themselves. So, and it looks like it's paying off here, even though they had that draw with Marble Falls. I thought those two were going to probably fight it out for the time. Yeah, a little surprised Woodbury's kind of struggling there, but they say, hey, gotta keep it back there. They're here to make that last playoff spot. Canyon Lake might be rebuilding this year. We'll see. It's maybe not really late, but they got a long to a lot to pretty much try to catch up to that last spot.
Yeah, 2 games out to hop back in for that here. Moving to 26 for the ladies. Wimberley 3-0-1, Davenport 3-1, Canyon Lake 2-0-2, the 2 draws, and Fredericksburg 1-2-1, and Marble Falls right now on the outside at 1-3.
Yeah, Wimberley had that little stumble there on that draw. That can come back and bite them. Even though they got that win in the first go around with Davenport, so Davenport's still in striking range. What can you say about Canyon Lake? Canyon Lake, you can't take them lightly, and they can turn it up when they need to. And like I said, they got a couple ties with Fredericksburg and Wimberley. I think they still have to play Davenport, further down the road. So that'll be an interesting game or two. Fredericksburg, I think they had a lead with Davenport, but they kind of relinquished it. So it looked like it was going to be an upset, but Davenport came back and won. But I think those are your 4 teams more likely going to be your playoffs contenders.
27 for the boys, Lavernia. To me, kind of a surprise. Not that they're in the playoffs, but where they're positioned at 6-2. SanAntonio Cole, Gonzales. You said watch out for them, and they're right there in the hunt. Memorial and Kennedy battling out for the final slot.
Cole got a signature win against Lavernia. No one was expecting that, and and I watched Cole a few weeks ago against Memorial. Memorial took him to the woodshed. And I was like, is Cole going to be able to kind of make a move, maybe get to the 4th spot? But hey, I think that loss really kind of woke him up, and they've turned things around. A game like that will, sometimes, like I said, it's a wake up call. It's a good check, and like I said, they're in striking distance. Lavernia, if they lose another game, Cole's got right now the advantage. The head to head.
Well, they still got to play the second one, but yeah.
Yes, yeah. So they, like I said, we'll see how it goes in the second go around. Yeah, Gonzales, like I said, mentioned, you got to keep an eye on them. They're a dangerous team, and they're still not out of the woods yet for that district title. So I think it can come down to those 3. Memorial, remember they had that shootout with Kennedy. Kennedy upset them. I think it was 8-5 or something like that. They're gonna try to see they can hold them off, and it may come down to that game between those two on the second go around. They're at Edgewood to see who gets that last playoff spot.
Moving over to 27 for the ladies, Lavernia perfect on the season. Gonzales 6-1, Lolling still holding strong at 3-3-2. Cole at 2-2-3. Yoakum hanging in there at 2-3-1. Kennedy's still in it, a couple of games out at 2-4-1. But like I said here, you got to feel pretty comfortable for Lavernian and Gonzalez, and the third and fourth slot probably still up for grabs.
Yeah, the Lillian first year, like I said, first year varsity. They're making the best of it. They could literally make the playoffs like I said, on their first year. Same thing with Cole, first year in UIL. Like I said, I did get to see them play. They have some talented players up front. Like I said, can they kind of fend off Yoakum? That's going to be a key game there when they meet each other again. You know, whoever wins that game could have pretty much control of that last playoff spot.
Yeah, just to kind of let you know, outside of Kennedy making a run to the playoffs, the top two are going to be pretty clear in the Division One, and bottom two will be pretty clear in Division Two. In this district, it's pretty clear on where it's going to land. District 28, Floresville, 5-0. Uvalde. I know every off season or every preseason, I kind of fall into, hey, they're not doing so well, and when it comes to district, they're in. Oh, I didn't move Somerset up. Somerset should be above them, and then Pleasanton for that here. So Hondo 1 game out for it here, but like I said here, it's Floresville and Uvalde and Somerset off to the good starts.
Yeah, if you notice, remember Floresville started I think at 6-1, and then they went to the Border Olympics. Didn't do too well there, but they played some really good competition. I think that's helped them, and here in district play, so they have full control of the district. Like I said, Somerset's still a game behind, still not out of the, as far as contention winning the district title. Like I said, we'll see them on the second go around, and then can Hondo catch up to Pleasanton? That's going to be the thing, or even catch up even to Uvalde too. So like I said, it's a two game separation from 3 and 4. So, like I said, it's going to come down to the nitty gritty there on the second go around. Hondo's going to have to make some play moves, especially like I said, they have to get steal some points from Floresville and Somerset, on the road or at home to kind of stay on task, and then maybe get some upset wins over Pleasanton and Uvalde.
Moving to 28 for the ladies, Pleasanton 5-0-1, Uvalde 5-1, Floresville 4-1-1, Somerset 3-3, Poteet 2-4. Like I said here, Pleasanton stepped up. You got 3 top teams, and it's a battle between Poteet and Somerset for that 4th slot. But I think I would lean Somerset so far on getting the final slot.
Yeah, I think this is pretty much etched. Now the district title might be still on the line with 3 teams. Like I said, Floresville not far away. They did get a draw with Pleasanton. Uvalde's only loss was to Pleasanton, so things can still shape out. Like I said, I think it was kind of like last year. Those 3 were fighting it out for the top spot. So it's going to come down to once they face each other, how everything kind of who who's out, and ends up going to be on top. And Somerset, like I said, I think a win, unless they take care of business with Pearsall, Hondo, and then get a win at Poteet, they should have no issues. And I hope that Poteet doesn't upset anybody above them, so they just have no issues getting that 4th spot.
So that's the interesting thing. If Poteet does sneak in, then Floresville goes from D2 to D1. Because right now they would be D2, because Somerset's got 23 students more than them for that here. So that one's one to keep an eye on, because obviously Poteet with less than 500 would definitely be going to Division
D2.
2. District 29, London 10-0, 30 points. SGA 24, Beeville Jones 22, and then Ingleside and Toulouse Midway, they seem to flip back and forth depending on the results for that here, and then the Cal Allen's outside shot as well here. I'm not sure if you'd consider Rockport, because they're 8 points back.
Yeah, that's
so
3 games.
Probably a little bit too far for that, but Cal Allen, you got to figure they got to start picking up points or hoping Ingleside and Toulouse Midway don't.
Yeah, they got to start winning some of those games if they want to get that last spot. And like I said, they still end up in the Division 1 round, but it's still open. Like I said, anything can happen, but I think London's pretty much got this in the bag as far as the district time.
Yeah, I think London and SGA through here was Santa Cruz are pretty safe as well for that here. Moving to 29 for the girls. London again, Cal Allen, Rockport Fulton, Beeville Jones, and then it's a 2-game drop to Toulouse Midway and Ingleside. I don't have the points for this one here, so I don't know how it breaks down. Because unfortunately Ingleside doesn't update for the boys. Ingleside X account doesn't update for the girls standings here, but like I said, it seems like pretty clear top 4. Depending on how draws figure into this, but
yeah, London. Like I said, the second go around with Callan should be a good one. I think London wins that one, they'll win the district title. Callan, like I said, I think so. Callan still be the number 1 seed for the Division 1. London will still get the one for the Division 2.
And then District 30 boys, Valley View, 32 points. Hidalgo, 28 points. Mission Idea, 25. FAR, 22. Mozart, Vanguard out of Alamo, 19 points. So still in the hunt. And then it kind of breaks there. You got 9-point difference to Santa Maria and Zapata. So I think you got probably a 5-horse race right now with Alamo, Mozart kind of hanging on at this point. But Valley View and Hidalgo seem to be, I say seem to be clear, but I guess FAR College Prep could catch both of those as well.
The no for sure thing here is that both top 2 teams, FAR Valley and Hidalgo, are going D1.
Yes, and no question.
And then whoever finishes second is going to have a dance with the devil. So
we're going to get to that momentarily. On the ladies, FAR Valley View 24, Hidalgo 21, Rembrandt at 18, Beethoven at 15, Rio Grande City, Barula at 11, and then it drops off from there. But to me, like I said, I know it's only a 4-point gap, but I kind of question whether Gorilla will be able to make that up, just because you look at Mozart, FAR Idea, and even Zapata just haven't got the results so far.
Yeah, so the more likely, like I said, it'll be a battle for the last spot between Gorilla and Vanguard. Top 2 spots, kind of like the boys. That's pretty much edge and stone. Don't see Rembrandt kind of, like I said, Rembrandt's pretty much should have no issues locking in there. The only thing is they're gonna, keeping up their position, because if they finish in 3rd, they'll end up getting the top seed for Division 2. So for their district, so that's something that they need to hold on to there.
And then for 31, Progresso on the boys, perfect. And then it's Wild West. You got the idea, well, I guess Monte Alta, but Edinburgh Quest at 18, Donna at 17, Alamo Idea at 16, Monte Alto at 15, Waslaco Idea Pike at 12, along those lines here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a Progresso Invitational here, and I know they scored 3 touchdowns and a field goal last weekend. Yeah. So I'm sure some people weren't too thrilled about that, but hey, it is what it is.
Nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do. I mean, you just can't keep from scoring. So interesting for them. Like I said, can they? I know, like I said, they've dominated this district. I don't think it's even been close. Can they keep their level of play up going into the playoffs? Because they are going to run into a couple of tests. and especially round 2 is going to be a test, and can maintaining that intensity is gonna be key for them if their ambitions is to get back to Georgetown.
So on the girls' side, Edinburgh Idea running away with it at 28 points. Raymondville at 20. Westlaco Pike at 18. Progresso at 14. Edinburgh Quest at 13. Lyford at 12. So it looks at here. I think the only sure thing is Edinburgh. Outside of that, it's how it finishes. Good luck trying to figure that out.
Yeah, like I said, there's an 8-point difference between 6 and 2, but I think Raymondville's pretty much got this as far as they're making the playoff. Yeah, I think Westlaco, they're almost in. If they get a couple wins, they're pretty much sure that up. But the last spot, like I said, Progresso is going to have to fend off Edinburgh and Lyford on this. And yeah, it's crazy that Alamo Idea still mathematically has a chance, but like I said, because they're only 5 points away, but it's probably going to come down to those 3 teams for the last spot.
Yeah. And then 32, Port Isabel, 22, Frontier 21, Jubilee 21, Riverview 21. So the top 4 are set. The order, well, we already know D1 and D2. Who finishes first or second, is the question. So, because really this is a race between who can finish higher, Port Isabel or Riverview, and then on the other side, Brownsville Idea versus Brownsville Jubilee. That's 1 or 2 because we already know D1, D2 because they're not no offense to Robin Hood or La Feria or Rio Hondo, you're not making up that gap.
Yeah, I'm sure Idea Riverview does not want to finish in that spot. I think they want to win that district title because they know that first round game is the dance with the devil. So, I'm sure Frontier and Jubilee are like, okay, yeah, we're glad we're in the so we don't have to worry about that. But like I said, this is a very competitive district. So it's like I said, to have 4 teams within 1 point each other, that's just something about this.
And then for the ladies, you got Riverview and Port Isabel at 21, Jubilee at 13, and then Robindale, Rio Hondo, and La Feria within 3 points along those lines to finish out district 4A Region 4.
Could Rio Hondo making the playoffs could change some things, as far as who, especially with Idea Riverview, they can end up going to Division 2 if they get it, if Rio Hondo gets in.
So let me bring this back on. Alrighty, so then we're going to look at it here. So for the boys, Division 1, Regions 4 here, you're going to have Austin Northeast facing off against Marble Falls, the runner-up 26. Lavernia versus Somerset. Beeville Jones versus Hidalgo. Progresso versus Brownsville, and this is the matchup that you're talking about here. If it's a Hidalgo versus Progresso, get the wins. And as far as we'll kind of talk about that quadrant as far as here. Thoughts on the top half of Division 1. Region 4, Division 1 boys.
This is pretty much the top part's the kiss of death. I mean, Lavernia, you got Marble Falls, Northeast. Yeah, you're gonna have some pretty good matchups in the second round and the third round. One of your more likely possibility, one of your original finalists could come from that section there.
Progresso,
the state, yeah.
Progresso or Northeast? Because I'm assuming those are the two that you're thinking.
Don't sleep on Hidalgo.
Oh, Hidalgo.
Don't sleep on them. Hidalgo, like I said, they could, they could find a way, and that's the thing is that their district's a little bit, I think, a little more stacked than the one Progresso's in, and that could come back and bite Progresso in the butt on that. Not playing any competition, so just keep an eye on that game. That'd be the key. If Progresso slips up, that would probably be the game right there.
Let's see if I can make this a little bit bigger to view. See if that makes a difference. Bottom half, you got Davenport and Burnett, Uvalde Memorial, Valley View, Ingleside, and Port Isabel versus Donna Idea College Prep, based on how it is today.
I could see maybe a Davenport Valley View third round game. That'd be a really good game there. That'd be a very interesting game. I know. I think Coach Zeke Morales is there at Valley View. I think he's on a mission. Like I said, he's got something to prove. Like I said, but that'll be a good game for Davenport. Whoever can wins that probably is going to end up facing Progresso and probably in the regional final.
So moving over to Division 2, and this one's going to be a lot of fun. Austin Achieve, Bandera, Cole, Pleasanton, London, Far, and then Edinburgh Quest versus Brownsville Frontier.
I think Austin Achieve, you probably see an Austin Achieve London third round game. I think those two are in the collision course. What
about Cole and Pleasanton? And the reason I'm asking because this is Cole's first year in UIL.
That'll be an interesting game. Like I said, I think it'll be a competitive game, and that can probably go either way because it's his Cole's first year in the playoffs, so that not much playoff experience. It's coming into play. But if they're playing at a good high level going into the playoffs, I think they'll be favored for that game.
Bottom half of the bracket: Fredericksburg, Lago Vista, and then Floresville Gonzales, Mission Idea versus SGA, Brownsville Jubilee, and Alamo Idea.
I think the four teams up top, Fredericksburg, Lago Vista, Floresville, and Gonzales, could probably be the ones that get to your regional final. Lago Vista is a real dangerous team. From what I've been hearing from especially talking to the Northeast coach, they've really kind of built that program. Fredericksburg has done a great job this year. Can they hold off and win the district title? We'll see. Like I said, we'll help them get in. We'll keep that top spot. Gonzales could give Floresville a challenger, and if there's a kind of like a bracket buster, that could be the one right there.
And then moving over to the ladies. Top half, Burnett versus Fredericksburg, Lavernia, Somerset, Cal Allen, Hidalgo, Raymondville, and Port Isabel.
That's a tough quadrant there. Burnett's having a great season, but they got a real that Fredericksburg team is very dangerous. They got some good athletes on that team. They got a really good forward that has good size and speed. That could be a tricky game for them. So they're gonna have to be, on their A game for that one. Lavernia, I think they'll take care of business with Somerset. So I think could see a Lavernia Burnett game. That'd be another great one. Cal Allen should have no problem with Hidalgo. So we may see a Cal Allen versus Burnett third regional semifinal game, or maybe even a Lavernia,
Fredericksburg,
or maybe in Fredericksburg too.
Bottom, Davenport Northeast Early College for the ladies, Uvalde Gonzales, Valley View Beeville Jones, Brownsville Idea Riverview, and right now Progresso is the final slot for 31.
Davenport should have no issues here. There's no excuse not to get to this get to the regional final. I think, as long as they keep their top seed, for Division 1, no issues there. And they may be on the collision course with a Cal and or Burnett, which would those regional final.
Well, if they finish runner up, then they would most likely face Burnett in round 1 instead of Fredericksburg. So
yeah.
that would be interesting. So moving to 4A District 2 or Division 2. Lago Vista, Canyon Lake, Lowling, Floresville, Corpus Christi, London, Vanguard, Beethoven, and then Edinburgh, Idea, and Brownsville, Robindale, and then so that's that quadrant.
Lago Vista is a good team, but I don't think they want to play Canyon Lake. Canyon Lake, like I said, they could go 3 deep, and it'd be interesting if they match up against how they match up against Corpus Christi and London. I think that's a possibility. They're gonna lock horns in that regional semifinal game. Floresville, I think they'll end up knocking off Lowling. I think they'll win that.
This is a first-year program.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the bottom, Wimberley versus Georgetown Gateway, Pleasanton versus Cole, Far Vanguard, Rembrandt versus Rockport Fulton, and Brownsville Jubilee and Westlaco Pike.
So Wimberley should have no issues here going through. So we could have a district rematch with Davenport. So we might have a trilogy there. And whoever wins that is going to get to go dance with Region 3 for the state semifinal. So, and this is going to be the key there. Can Davenport on the second go around? I think a win there. Actually, Fredericksburg. Except with Davenport's D1, but they're Wimberley, like I said, should have no problem there. We're going to get into this since they'll be Division 2. So we could see, like I said, I could see a London Wimberley game. I think that'd be an awesome game. Wimberley is, like I said, this is their opportunity to finally kind of break through. Like I said, we may have 2 representatives from that same district for Division 1, Division 2, Region 4.
So, and for those keeping up at home, in the She Believes Cup, USA is on top of Colombia after the first half. And for those on the Four Nations face-off, looks like after the first period, tied 1-1 with Canada for that here. So for those keeping it home, because we know Steve is watching, so hopefully Steve is doing well when he watches it on the recap. Moving to 5A, we're going to start calling this the Kano region for that here. I won't go with the initial bracket name for that here. Good thing Google Translate to keep me from putting something on there that gets us in trouble. District 25 boys, Leander Glen 7-0-1, Cedar Park 5-0-3, Lockhart 5-3, Liberty Hill 3-2-3. Leander's game out at 2-3-3. Not sure if you're keeping Kyle Lehman or Leander Rouse in, but like I said, if you're Lockhart Lions, you got to feel pretty comfortable with your position and anybody above them. Liberty Hills, still some work, especially with Leander right on their tail.
Yeah, Leander Rouse, last year with the deep run they made last year, really have fallen off. They may have a really young team this year. They probably lost a lot of seniors. That's why they're struggling. But kudos to Lockhart. They have a chance here. They're gonna have to keep on winning games, maybe even steal points from up top. That'll help them. Keep their their chances of getting to the playoffs. So they'll be going Division 1. So unless there's a change, if Leander happens to sneak in, it gets by Liberty Hill, that'll drop Lockhart to Division 2. So Liberty Hill's trying to fend off Leander. So that could, like I said, that could change a lot of things as far as who goes where Lockhart goes, either D1 or D2.
Moving to for the ladies for District 25, Cedar Park 8-0, Leander Rouse, Liberty Hill, Buddha Hayes at 3-4-1. Leander, half game back? A game back, I guess you could say. Is it half because of the draw? I think it will. Well, it's a game back somewhere, because they played the same number of games. Leander, and even Lockhart Lions still in the hunt for that final slot. But I think just like with the boys, top three got to be pretty secure.
Yeah, it's pretty much, well, really the top two is pretty much secure there because, like I said, third place team has 5 losses. that's that's a little eye opening, to have 5 losses in district play, but still
That
be in
actually might
place.
be. I wonder
Or
if
is
I
it
have
60,
that
or
incorrect.
could it be 63? Yeah,
I think it's
it might be
6-3 by the number of games. Yeah.
Okay, so that might be a little typos. Yeah, because also 6-5. That is a, so
It's way out
everybody
of
must
whack.
be everybody. Yeah. So, but the surprise team out of this district has been Buda Hayes. And kudos to them. Last year, like I said, this was the district pretty much swept 26. Leander, like I mentioned, it's a rebuilding year for them. They lost a lot of great players last year. Uh, like I said, Cedar Park's been the surprise. But they're still
6-2 for Liberty Hill.
6-2.
6-2.
Okay, so they were still within striking distance. And um, could that change things if they get in? As far as Division 1, Division 2 possibility, we'll see. But right now, like I said, Cedar Park going Division 2. Same thing with Buda Hayes, Leander Rouse, and Liberty Hill in Division 1.
Yeah, Leander getting in wouldn't really change anything unless Liberty Hill or Leander Rouse drops.
So so Buda Hayes and what would it be? Yeah, Buda Hayes and
Because right
and
now,
Leander
Buda
Rouse
Hayes and Cedar Park, or pardon me, Leander Rouse. So yeah, I have that.
would be a Division 1. Yeah, so Liberty Hill and Cedar Park would be a Division 2. Yeah.
Moving to 26. That means I have my bracket wrong on that. So that's gonna, maybe I can adjust that. Piper, Bernie, and then a gap. New Braunfels, Smithson Valley, Alamo Heights, hanging in there, and Kerrville. I guess mathematically still alive. Not sure Bernie Champion. The ties are hurting them on trying to get back in.
Mm-hmm.
But Piper and Bernie collision course for 1 and 2, and if you noticed, they go to Division 2. New Braunfels, Smithson Valley would go to Division 1.
Yeah, so really, there wouldn't be any changes as far as who goes where, unless you have Alamo Heights get in.
Alamo Heights and Piper goes Division 1.
Yeah, they go Division 1, and that really some stack Division 1 there. So I know there's some teams in Division 1 like, oh, hopefully Alamo Heights doesn't get in, but that's the nature of this, and we'll see. Like I said, let's say if it does, Alamo Heights does get in, so like I said, that really kind of change things as far as the outlook going into the play, kind of the playoff outlook as far as the route for each team. But it's not over yet. Like I said, it is a competitive district. Little surprised Bernie Champions down this year. I thought there would be a contender there. Maybe they're dealing with some injuries.
I don't know if they're down because they have 4 draws. So yeah, they got the 4 losses. But what you've talked about is those draws.
Mm-hmm.
I know everybody says, "Hey, you get a point," and if it was like the district that the AJ's in, and you go to PKs, and if you get the penalty kick win, then it doesn't hurt you as bad. But if you're splitting, getting 1 point, that's in a district like this, it really hurts you.
Yeah, and especially if it's a point that's a draw against a team that's below you, that doesn't help. Now if you draw someone away against a team that's above you, that it does kind of help. But like I said, right now they're at, we say mathematically we do let's see 3.6, so they'll be at 10 points right now. So they're only 2 points behind Kerrville. They're 4 points behind. Let's see, 12, 14. Yeah, 4 points behind Alamo Heights, and then 15. So still within striking distance, but they're gonna have to start beating teams ahead of them. So any draws are not really going to help out.
Draws or losses right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, U.S. almost with another goal. Moving to 26 for the ladies. Piper, not Pipers. Piper, 8-1-1. Smithson Valley 7-0-2. Bernie 7-3. Alamo Heights 7-3. And then do you call it already, or do you think Bernie Champion and New Braunfels can sneak back in? And I know it's kind of odd to say,
Yeah.
but you're talking about 4 powerhouses at the top right now, or 4 quality teams. Well, they've been powerhouses historically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think it's over yet. Because like I said, Alamo Heights is at, like I said, they're at 21,
21,
and then like I said, Bernie
16.
Champion, yeah. So they're still within striking distance, and like I said, all it takes for New Braunfels and Champion actually to knock off. Let's say they knock off Smithson Valley or Piper or Bernie, they're back in the mix. So, or even a draw on the road could be in it. So it's as long as you get steal points from teams ahead of you, it's gonna make a difference. So there's, like I said, you can't slouch on in this. There's no gimmies. But kudos to the Bernie girls. They don't, like I said, they kind of start a little slow, but then they kind of they're picking it up. They're one of the hottest teams right now. Like I said, they had some interesting matchups coming up. Can they hold on to their placement here? And who's to say that if things stay the same, who's to say they don't do any damage in Division 2 for 5A like they did last year for 4A.
I know you won't do it, but I'm calling the top 4 is locked. But I know they still got to play. But I just the pedigree of these teams, barring a major injury to one of their better players, I think it's going to be tough for Bernie Champion and New Braunfels to sneak in. 27 for the boys. Lanier 7-0-2. Edison 7-2-1. Burbank 6-1-2. Jefferson 6-3-1. Brack 5-5. Fox Tech 3-5-2. And then Highland, Seguin, and Sam Houston finish it out. But Brack, can they get into it with Jeff or no?
They're gonna have to knock out some teams ahead of them. That's gonna be a tough test for them. Is it doable? Yeah, it's
Mathematically.
Mathematically, still, it's not over yet. So they're gonna have to beat Jeff. They're gonna have to beat Burbank ahead. Just try to get back in it. But what are you gonna say about Edison's? It's quietly snuck up to second place, and I know Adrian mentioned what about Edison? And I told you, Edison. I said some of my club soccer kids played for Edison. They said that they have a really good program. They said they have a good program, not a lot of coverage, but we even had their coach on a couple years ago, and like I said, they have some talented players there. And they can be a little sneaky team that can kind of upset you. But what do you say about Lanier? Lanier's had a great season. I did get to see them that 2-2 game they had with Burbank, but it looks like they seem to have control of the district right now. So far, it's still into play. It's not over yet. Edison can still get to that top spot. Burbank's still within range too. The one thing is, can Jefferson hold off Brack, and if they can get some key games wins, and then maybe steal some points from the teams ahead, I think they can do that.
Moving to 27 for the ladies. Seguin 8-1-1. Highlands, my neighbors teach or principal at Highlands, so great on them for the ladies, 8-2. Jefferson, 7-1-1. Edison, 7-3, and then I'm pretty sure we're calling it a drop to Vox Tech at 4-6. But your thoughts on District 27 for the ladies?
Yeah, this is pretty much already, I think, set. I think these are going to be your 4 teams for the playoffs. Now, district championship wise, it's still
a 3-horse race.
Really, three.
Well, actually 4, no, because it's
Edison. Edison can still get in it. So it's not over yet. But great season for Seguin. After what they endured last year, to come over here, they're going to be a top team. Like I said, for if they do finish winning the district title, they'll be the top seed for Division 1. But that'll be a tall task for who they play in the next round. So, but still, it'll be a good game. Like I said, these teams, like I said, these 4 should be the locked in as far as who you're going to see in the next round.
So moving to 28, Southwest, perfect, 10-0, 13-0 in the season, 30 points. MacArthur, 8-3, 23 points. Legacy kind of rebounded from a little dip, 8-3, 22 points. To me, the race is for fourth. Harlandale, John Jay, Southside, I think are probably the three there. I follow. My son plays for John Jay, so I follow them close. First round, I think they got a little bit unfair on the referee decisions. But I think if you ask Coach Poor, they had they were games that they could have still won if they would have played the right way and handled the business. But round two, they've got some work to do. The good news for John Jay, they've already played Southwest the second time. Unfortunately, had a 4-1 loss to the great Southwest Dragons last Saturday. MacArthur, I guess it's the battle for the second, right? At this point, or do you think anybody can really catch up to Southwest in the second, in the second round of division action?
This is pretty much over. I think you can already give the district title to them. I think had MacArthur not lose those two key those close ones, I think
To Harlandale, yeah, they lost to Harlandale. That one hurt MacArthur a lot for the title.
Yeah. So if they had not lose that game, mathematically they could have still been in it. But as far as the rematch, but like I said, it's pretty much done now. What's going to come down to is as far as maybe who finishes runner up for the district. Harlandale's 2 games behind MacArthur. If they can kind of get a little hot streak, they can end up getting that top seed for division 2. So it's still up for the grabs now. Things can change. Like I said, if John Jay gets in, they're still within striking distance. Same thing with Southside. I think it's going to really come down to who can knock out as far as the last few games of the season. Can they steal points on the road? It's going to be interesting. And also the key here, you have to win the games in regulation because those shootout wins, you only get 2 points, so you lose out on one, and that 1 point could cost you, a playoff spot. So you got to go out there and win your games, during regulation.
And I know this is going to sound crazy, but Jay and Southside are scheduled to play tomorrow. I think it's 5:45 that they readjusted the schedule since they canceled the JV game. As somebody that supports John Jay, to me that's a must win. If they lose or drop points, if they don't get the full 3 points, then that puts a little bit bigger gap between them and Harlandale. I know mathematically they can, but I do think just for John Jay to be able to kind of get the Southwest taste out of their mouth, get back on the winning ways, because they beat them pretty convincing the first time, if memory serves me correct. So I know that one's away at Southside, and winning winning on the road is not easy, but for John Jay, they have the talent in for that here. Harlandale, I will say, they are going to be tough to get by. Haven't seen them play a few times. They're that sneaky good team that you may catch them on one night, but the other night they're going to catch you. Like I said, I watched them against MacArthur. They did the same thing against Jay, where the speed that they have can make a difference. Legacies, I know Legacy's right up there with MacArthur. They're the one team that, if there is going to be one to drop, to maybe kind of watch out for. For Jay, like I said here, in order to get in. But yeah, for MacArthur, like I said, I like how they're set up. Southwest obviously is pretty safe. But to me, for John Jay, for them to get into it, it has to start tomorrow. And don't sleep on Eagle Pass win either. They're because I know they're a solid team in McCullum as well.
Yeah, the one thing with Harlandale, they have Legacy tomorrow. They're hosting Legacy, so
yeah,
that's a must win for them, because if they lose that game, and Jay wins, Now
then it's
Jay
back
ties them
even.
up
Yeah.
back even, and then the kicker here is like they have McCollum next, and then here's where Harlandale has to kind of run the gauntlet here. So they'll play Southwest on the 28th. They're at Jay on the 4th of March.
Mhm.
That could determine who gets that last spot
Yes.
of the playoffs right there, and then they're still not out of the woods yet because they have Southside on March the 7th. So I think they may have the kind of the tougher edge of the schedule because they're going to kind of run into that little gauntlet towards the end. Uh,
Well, to
Jay,
me, they still have to face. If you still have to face Southwest, and I hate counting, putting losses on teams, but just unless Southwest doesn't show up, or as Chief says on X, if they don't pay attention to what they're doing,
mhm.
and they typically do have a slip up during the season, right? It's been a while since Southwest
Yeah,
has
they haven't
gone
lost.
undefeated.
Yeah, they haven't lost a district game in a long time.
So,
Uh, but like I
to,
said, it came close to that legacy game. That was a 2-1 game. So
but to
the
me,
next,
the reason why the Harlandale match is important is if Southwest gets that win, that puts them 25 if they get the full point, so they would be 8 points ahead of that final slot. So
Mhm.
to me, like I said, here's Southwest Legacy versus Harlandale, and then John Jay and Southside. Next week when we have the same discussion, the picture may be a lot clearer depending on the
Yeah,
results of this week.
yeah.
Moving to the ladies, big match last week. John Jay got the win against Southwest to go 9-1, 27. MacArthur's been cruising, waiting for the rematch with John Jay. 9-2 at 25. Southwest at 8-2 at 24. McCullum 7-3 at 21. Last time we spoke, Southwest Legacy was in first, and then they had a bad week and fell to now outside of the playoffs here at 6-2 and 18 points because of along there. So
I think that they have 4 losses, I believe.
4 losses. Okay.
Yeah, they have 4 losses, I believe. No, I think they have 5 losses. Let me double check that.
No, because there's 10 matches. So yeah, 4 losses.
Yeah, 4 losses. Okay. So yeah, because they did have a loss against.
Yeah, so
inside.
the points is right at 18, but the
Mhm.
loss column is wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, I did go to the MacArthur legacy game there at back west. It's a tight game. Mac they hit the post a couple times early on, and also there was one key shot on a free kick towards near the end of the game. It hit the post. I don't know how it did not go in. Um, So, and they were able to pounce on it, but like I said, going into the into the shootout, like I said, they ended up winning 4-1, and like I said, they had no issues there going to that. Yeah, like I said, yeah, Legacy's, they were up top, but yeah, they're 6-5 in district play. So just to give you a heads up on that, so they're 6-5 in district play. So that not getting, like I said, they were able to get a point from that shootout loss, but still. They still have a tough task. They have, like I said, on their schedule, they still have a tough Harlandale team. It's not a gimme game there. Should have no issues with CC win. But then here's where it gets tough for them. The last 3 games of the season, they have McCullum at Southwest, and then they finish off with Jay.
Yeah.
And so things by next week, maybe by next weekend, things will probably get more clear who's actually. Maybe we'll have some teams already clinched the playoff spots. District title wise, Southwest is still in it, even though Jay got the win, got the 3-1 win. MacArthur still, like I said, MacArthur has that 1 win, has given John Jay their 1 loss in district play, so they still have to play again. And if MacArthur wins, they'll take over that first place spot. So I think Jay's really kind of, like I said, they want to stay in that 1 spot for the Division 1 so they can host. Trying to kind of fend off Southwest here. But like I said, they have a 3-point cushion. But like I said, John Jay still got a tough schedule as well.
Yeah, tough schedule. But yeah, to me, like I said here, the next big match on this one here, John Jay MacArthur, that'll be a must watch and could could decide the title, because if John Jay gets the win, then they would have they would open up a decent gap left in there. Moving to 29, Flower Bluff 11-0, Veterans Corpus Christi Vets 9-2, Carroll at 7-3-1, Gregory Portland 5-3-2, and then a gap for that here. So looking at it here, I'm not sure if Corpus Christi Miller can close the gap with Gregory Portland, but it does seem like Flower Bluff and Vets Memorial seem to be pretty comfortable positions.
Yeah, I think even Corpus Christi Carroll too. I think they should pretty much have no issue as far as getting the playoffs. I think Gregory Portland, they just have to win a couple more games. Should have no worries from Miller. So those are going to be your 4 from District 29.
For the ladies, Gregory Portland 11-0, Flower Bluff 9-2, Vets Memorial 8-3, Ray at 7-3, and then a gap, not an insurmountable gap between King and Carroll with Ray, but one where they're on the outside right now.
Yeah, like I said, there are a few games, like I said, kind of they're about, I think we're 12, about 8 points behind, so they got some catch up, but I think Ray will hold them off. Gregory Portland, like I said, not much has been talked about them. The girls there have really had an excellent season. They could be one of those dangerous teams in, like I said, in Division 2 that can make a deep run coming in. Keeping also an eye on that Flower Bluff team. They're going to be a challenge in D1. So you got two Corpus Christi area teams that could probably do some damage in each division.
And then moving to 30, Laredo Nixon 9-1, 26 points. Whereas Lincoln 22, Martin at 20. And then you got a mixture of Palmview, Mission, and Rio Grande City at 18 and 16 apiece for that here. So I guess theoretically you got 4 for the final 2, a 4-point gap right there, depending on results for that here. And I guess Wars Lincoln isn't entirely safe, being only 6 points above.
Yeah, it's been a struggle for them this season. But they got a key win, knocking off Nixon on the second go around. But Nixon's been the surprise, and like I said, I think they'll end up winning the district title. They still got their rivalry game coming up with Martin, so that's always a shootout there. But it's gonna be interesting, like I said, who gets that last play, the last 2 playoff spots. It may come down to the final game of the season.
And then for the ladies, Nixon on top, Palmview right behind, 1 point behind at 27 and 26. And then whereas Lincoln at 20, Mission Vets at 20, and then Laredo Martin at 15. And then that's where I'm calling the line here. And even Laredo Martin, it's kind of an outside shot, but technically, mathematically, still within a reasonable shooting range.
Yeah. So it looks like the Nixon girls trying to do the same thing like the boys, trying to sweep, trying to take a clean sweep for the district title. So, but it's going to come down to, like I said, that last game against Palmview. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and we can see here difference, even though both have 9 teams, one has a shootout win. So for that here, District 31 boys, Sherry at 27, McAllen at 22, Pioneer at 22, and McAllen Rowe at 18, with Memorial at 16 points right behind them.
Yeah, so Sherryland, like I said, they've been a state champion in the past. Great program. Only 1 loss, but I think they should have no issues winning the district title. That last spot's going to come down, like I said, Memorial Rowe. Like I said, 2 rival schools. It's going to be interesting who wins that last game, and can they, like I said, take care of business for the teams below them. Can't lose any games there, because like I said, points do matter here towards the very end.
For the ladies, Memorial perfect on the season so far in district at 30, Pioneer at 22, McAllen at high at 21, McAllen Rowe at 18. Edinburghville at 15, and I think I'm probably drawing the line there, but I guess Sherryland at 11. 7 points mathematically, probably still within shooter, in the neighborhood. But like I said, that's a lot. That's a lot of points to jump, in the second round of action.
Yeah, McAllen Memorial, like I said, they did this last year. They're doing it again this year. Can they do it? Like I said, when it comes to the playoffs, they're more likely going to go Division 1. So we'll see how they match up, once they get to the third round. Pioneer's been the surprise there for the girls. Like I said, they had a key win over McAllen. Like I said, they're trying to kind of maintain, see if they can get a runner spot. McAllen's, like I said, a little down here for them because I thought they'd be kind of contending for the district title with Memorial. But like I said, still a good team. I think, like I said, they can still do some damage in the playoffs.
If Edinburghville gets in, then Memorial would drop to D2.
Which that could change a lot of things there for them.
Yeah, it would change because the 22 Edinburghville is the biggest school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, biggest school. So yeah, if they do sneak in, Memorial would drop down. 32 for the boys. Brownsville Lopez 33, 11-1. Harlingen South at 29. Brownsville Porter at 27. Brownsville Rivera at 21. Donna North at 20. Brownsville Pace at 19. And then I'm drawing the line there for that here. I guess mathematically Donna is still in, but I think that's too many teams to have to jump and make up the points for. So you got 3 for the final 1 slot. Rivera, North, or Pace. Which one you betting on?
The thing is, like with Lopez, like I said, Lopez is right now they're in the Division 2 spot. So I don't think anything will change for them to get to Division 1. I guess the only way that would happen if
would be Pace.
If Pace kind of snuck in that last spot, which mathematically, like I said, they're 2 points away, so don't count them out. Rivera's trying to hold off Donna North there. The big surprise, if you're looking at this, is Harlingen South. They're having an excellent season, so kudos to them. Like I said, they've really kind of built the program. So I know we follow them on X, and like I said, great season for those boys down there. And like I said, they could be a team to watch in the playoffs. So keep an eye on them.
Yeah, they posted a picture of their initial team, or they made mention of their initial team. I want to say it was 30 years. I'd have to pull it back up, but I know they were giving thanks to the first team on X today for that here. Moving to the ladies, Harlingen South, perfect on this season at 35. Well, I guess they dropped 1-1 in extra PKs, so they don't have the perfect 36. So I guess it's not perfect, but 12-0 at 35. Ed Couch Elsa at 28, Lopez at 27, Donna North at 23, Rivera at 21, and you keeping the Redskins in at 16. The Donna Redskins, or
they're in striking distance. Anything can happen. Like I said, it just takes 2-3 games, but. Like I said, out of this, like I said, Harlingen South is the dominant team in this district. So, like I said, them going into, like I said, Division 1, there are going to be some problems for some teams in later rounds.
And then, all right, and I think I had some corrections I needed to do, but we'll do it that later. Further here. All right, so for 5A girls, Division 1, Cedar Park, Smithson Valley, Seguin Southwest, Corpus Christi, Flower Bluff, Palm View, McAllen Memorial, and Donna North.
Ooh, some interesting that first round matchup. That's a shame. Cedar Park and Stinson Valley. Well, you remember last year, 25 5A swept 26 5A.
Uh-huh.
So is this the year that 26 5A returns the favor for them? We'll see. I think whoever wins that game, it's got to be a favorite to go to the third, at least get to the third round.
Even over Southwest?
Yes. Southwest should take care of business with Seguin. Flower Bluff, like I said, that Flower Bluff team could be, like I said, cause some problems with that McCallum Memorial. That would be an interesting game there between McCallum Memorial and Flower Bluff. And then, like I said, so you're gonna have four powerhouses. The two of those Valley or Corpus area powerhouses play against San Antonio or Austin.
Bottom half, you got Piper, Hayes, Jay, Highlands, Nixon, Corpus Christi Vets, Harlingen South, and McAllen. So if we went through this, that is very tasty.
Don't count McAllen out because McAllen.
Oh, you'd do more McAllen?
Well, that's going to be a very tough. I'm sure Harlingen is not happy about that matchup. Harlingen South's not happy with that matchup. That's going to be a tough game. They're going to get tested in that game. That can go either way. You have a bracket buster, that could be one there. Piper, they may get challenged a little bit by Hayes, but I think they'll get by that. I think John Jay should take care of business against Highlands, and then Vets Memorial should take care of Nixon. So you could see a Piper McAllen. That'd be a tasty game there. Maybe even Harlingen South too. So it should some good matchups coming up. And then who's to say we don't have a Piper Spencer Valley regional final?
Oh, sorry, Ray, I missed it here. So a new system here. Hello, hi amigos. Talk to me. And there we go. And then no sense kids talking RGV soccer.
Yeah, my dad's from the RGV, so so I know most of the coaches out there. So
Ray's helping me out because he was writing for RGV Sports. He's keeping me aligned with some of the RGV stats and goal scorers and along those lines here. So we might bring him on as we get closer to the bracketology to kind of talk about the girls, since we're ducking down there, and the who to watch for come through here.
I'm sure he's surprised as far as I know for the boys soccer, the Harlingen South boys having a surprise season. I'm sure he's surprised about that, especially in that Brownsville district.
Moving to the official Kano region here. Leander Rouse versus Alamo Heights. Jefferson McCullough.
We can call it the Kano Champions League.
Or the Hollow Kano.
Yeah. See that game, you said Rouse and Alamo Heights. That's a good matchup. I mean, that could literally be a third round matchup, or even a regional final. It's going to be a shame one of those two. This is, like I said, like what I mentioned last year, 2025 got the best of 26. Is this the year they reverse things? And then the game below, Jeff and McCollum, that's going to be a good game too. That can go either way. I remember going one year, those two teams faced each other at Alamo Stadium. That was a back and forth game. Jefferson got the better of McCollum, but that's when McCollum was kind of on the rise on this, and that's going to be a good game, So if you have, like I said, they do meet up, so watch out for that one. Gregory Portland, keep on that team, but that game versus Sharyland Pioneer could be that could be a doozy of a game there too. I still think it'll probably be Gregory Portland versus the winner of Rouse and Alamo Heights. I think that's who you probably see in that regional semifinal.
Ray is not a fan of the new playoff format. I actually don't mind it. It's going to take a little bit of getting used to, but I almost think you have to split it early in the season, and I know Roth and I have talked about this when more schools get added. You're going to see them truly split it. Division 1, Division 2, so that way you don't have this, regular season, kind of where it's mixed in top 4. You'll actually have it predetermined.
I think more likely what's going to happen. I think the next realignment, you're going to have Division 1 and Division 2 districts already set.
Yeah.
So you already know who's going to be in what.
And that way it goes through there now. Bottom half, Bernie, Liberty Hill. Coach Kano.
That's one of the Champions League, I guess.
I'm picking Edison. Is it too early to be the bracket buster? But no. Bernie, Liberty Hill, MacArthur, Edison, Juarez, Lincoln, Ray, Ed Couch, Elsa, and Rowe. To me, I know Coach MacArthur and the history of Bernie through there. That'd be an interesting. You brought up a key point.
Yeah, don't count out Liberty Hill. And Coach.
Well, I know that's my point. You brought up before we started recording. That game would be in San Antonio because last year MacArthur had to travel up to Liberty Hill. So I wonder which way coaches lean for that, assuming that he's not looking past Edison, of course.
Make sure play him in the grass, but. The Bernie, like I said, Bernie versus Liberty Hill. That's an interesting matchup. That can go either way. Like I said, I'm sure Liberty Hill is gonna have to travel to Bernie, so it's gonna be a tough road test for them. So, but like I said, I think the winner of that probably would play MacArthur, and then the bottom part. I think that those can go either way. That can go either way. Maybe Corpus Christi Ray might be in the.
Ray mentioned Roars. Lincoln's been on a free fall lately.
Is that for the boys or the girls? I know the boys have been kind of down this year, which is a surprise.
But the girls I thought were pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, the boys, usually the Juarez Lincoln boys, they dominate that district. But I know this year Nixon's winning that one right now. Oh, the girls. Okay, so in the free fall. Well, like I said, things can change by next week. So we'll see here. I think out of those 4 teams on the bottom, I think McAllen Rowe might be the one that could end up being in the regional semifinal.
And then moving to the gentlemen.
I'm sure a lot of people are going to be interested in this one.
I don't know. The ladies is pretty eventful. But Leander Glen, Smithson Valley, Lanier, Southwest Legacy, Flower Bluff, La Jolla, Palmview, McAllen, and Brownsville, Rivera.
Yeah, for this one, Rowe has been a real bit. Yeah, they could be a surprise. I think they could get the regional semifinal. But boys' side, Leander Gled should. I mean, they're just cut above. I mean, look what they did last year. Now the second game, that's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun game to watch. Like I said, I've seen Lanier, seen Legacy. That could be a high scoring game. But that can, like I said, it can go either way. But you're going to run into Leander Glen in the second round, so it's not a good matchup there. Then the bottom half. I think Flower Bluff should take care of La Jolla Palmview. And then
Brownsville.
Brownsville Rivera. I think that'd be key in the Brownsville Rivera. Yeah. We talked about that the other day about that. And like I said, but I think Brownsville Rivera could end up matching up, maybe play Leander Glen in that regional semifinal.
Bottom half, you got New Brunswick versus Lockhart, Southwest versus Jefferson, Laredo, Nixon, and Carroll, and Harlingen South and McAllen Road.
I think New Braunfels, should take. I think they'll take care of Lockhart. I think that'll be a close game. I think they just like I said, I think that Broncos had that pedigree there. Lockhart, like I said, they're up and coming team. Said don't have that experience yet as far as in the playoffs. Broncos does, but like I said, you have the pleasure of playing Southwest in the second round. So um, I see Southwest getting to the regional semifinals. Um, as far as the bottom two teams, I think Nixon should take care of Corpus Christi Carroll. That wild card team, that Harlingen South team, that they could be a surprise, kind of like what Donald North was last year. So I could end up seeing a Southwest versus Harlingen South regional semifinal, and then we'll have Leander Glen versus Southwest in the regional final. Maybe if Southwest is watching, hey, it would be nice to have it at Toyota Field. Just saying.
Come on, it's not going to be at Toyota Field. Something to keep in mind. Next week could prove to be judgment. Well, yeah, we talked about that, Coach. Especially even this weekend, especially for the boys. You got 3 versus 4 and 5 versus 6 along those lines here. Moving on to the bottom half or Division 2, Cedar Park versus Bernie, Edison versus Harlandale, which would be the final slot. For me, I'm hoping it's Jay, but no offense to Harlandale fans. But that spot would be there. But as we speak today, Harlandale, Corpus Christi Vets versus Laredo Martin, Sherryland, and Brownsville Porter.
That Cedar Park, like I said, great season, but Bernie High.
Coach is coming up with that. You're going to see Minutes have to play multiple games with a very short turnaround due to cancellations tomorrow. I know that JV got canceled. You might have more insight here, but I know AJ already asked, hey, do I think that they're going to cancel tomorrow? And I was like, I haven't heard yet, but that is a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah, there's another comment that said, next week key before spring break right around the corner. Hard to believe,
Yeah.
So they may have to push some games into spring break. Like I said, I think that's why they have that week to get that in. Because I remember one year they played 3 games in a week, which is insane. They did Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
And that was right before the
that was with the snow delay, remember?
Yeah, and that was right before you had to certify your districts too. There wasn't a whole lot of room, and then I think they had the 2 there, and then some teams started playing, a day or 2 after that for the first round. Yeah. That was just 2 years ago, 3 years ago. That happened.
Yeah, Bernie. Like I said, that matchup, I can see being Bernie. Like I said, Coach Strong. Like I said, they have a lot of playoff experience, so they know what it takes. They know what it needs to take care of business. Like I said, whoever wins that game is going to go deep in the playoffs. Edison Harlandale should be a fun. That's another fun game. I think that could be a very, very high scoring.
I know you
game.
mentioned Edison sneaky.
Yeah,
Harlandale. I think is when Harlandale shows up. They turn it on. They can be very, very, very good, and that's why to me the second round in 28 is going to be very interesting. Not so much, and I hate saying to this, Chief, not so much who plays Southwest, because I think Southwest just leap years ahead of everybody, but and I'll probably even throw MacArthur in there. MacArthur down to was it Southside? I think it was right below Jay. Those are going to be some battles, because MacArthur beat Jay 1-0 on the grass fields or on the boys. So, and it was a kind of a unlucky call on the Jay side through here where there was 2 refs. Jay feels he was completely offsides, and of course MacArthur's like he was onside, which is what the refs went with. So.
And then the bottom half, like I mentioned before we go on to, like I said, we have, like I said, I stood up a little bit. Martin.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Corpus Christi Vets, Laredo Martin, Sherryland, and Brownsville Porter. Rafa's favorite team to never bet against.
Well, Porter's gonna, like I said, they're gonna be a dangerous team. But they have a tough matchup with Sherline. Sherline, no slouch. Those two teams have had battles with each other. Laredo Martin, keep an eye on them. They could. I think they have talent enough to beat that Veterans Memorial team. So, but we may, like I said, we could see. That'd be interesting to see a Bernie versus Porter, or maybe Cedar Park versus Porter in regional semifinals.
Alrighty, here, let me remove this. Do this transition and bring this back over. Slideshow. Bring this back up. Transition. Bam. All right. Final district, or final, not district, final grouping 6A, Region 4. Cedar Park, Vista Ridge, 9-1. Vandergrift, 7-1-1. Westwood, McNeil, both at 6-3-1. And then a 2-game gap to Round Rock and a 3-game gap to Manor.
So like I said, Vista Ridge has been the surprise this year. Like I said, excellent season. Last year, like I remember, Vandergrift won the region. Little step back, but still, like I said, still contending. Still a dangerous team. Westwood, McNeil was trying to hold on to those last two spots. Can Ron Rock catch up to him? That's the thing. If Ron Rock catches up and gets that last spot, that can change the dynamics of some of the Division One. Who goes D? Like I said, Ron Rock will go D1, and let's say they knock off McNeil, that pushes up, pushes down actually Cedar Park down to D2. So, like I said, anything can happen. Like I said here, and it's probably going to come down to the last few games.
For the ladies, Round Rock 9-0-1, Vandergrift 7-2, Westwood 6-1-3, Cedar Park 4-3-3, and then Cedar Ridge at 4-5-1, Hutto at 4-4-2, and then the gap for that here.
Yeah, that last playoff spot's going to come down to those three: Cedar Ridge, Vista Ridge, and surprisingly Hutto. Top spots pretty much locked in. Ron Rock's, like I said, I think more likely going to win that district. A little surprised they have a tie, but like I said, I think it happens. It is a tough district. Vandergrift, like I said, they're doing what they usually do. They always contend. Like I said, those should make the playoffs.
Well, they're locked into the top slot for Division 2.
Yeah, so they should have no issue holding on to that. Unless, like I said, unless Hutto and Cedar Ridge comes in, maybe could change some things, but like I said, anything's possible. So like I said, Vista Ridge trying to hold on to keep that last spot to stay in Division 2.
Moving to 26, Lake Travis 6-1, Dripping Springs and Del Valley 4-2-1, and Austin Bowie 4-3. And Westlake 3-1-2. So you got 5 teams kind of battling. Oh, all relatively close. The draws are what's hurting Westlake in the matchups here, where they've drawn Dripping Springs and Del Valley.
Yeah, and like I said, the surprise team has been Del Valley this year. Can they hold on? Like I said, a little surprised Westlake. I thought Westlake would be a little bit higher this year. But like I said, they're kind of struggling right now. Don't know if the injury bugs hit them. It's still, like I said, it's not over yet. Like I said, anyone can be anybody. You can pretty much count Aikens and Austin High out. They're not going to do anything.
I didn't include them.
They didn't include them there. So, but can Bowie? Here's the thing: can Bowie hold off to Westlake? That's going to be the key there.
That's the question.
That's the one for what they did the last couple of years. They've had some really good teams, and this year I know they took a little step back. I know graduates to kind of hit them. They have a key matchup tomorrow, so they're at Del Valley. So they have, like I said, they have to steal some points over there because they're basically going to run the gauntlet here. They have Del Valley at Del Valley, then they have Drift Springs, and then on the 28th of February, they're at Austin Westlake. You know, if they can at least get 2 out of 3 wins, I think more than likely that'll pretty much get them in the playoffs. So they have a tall task, but can they? Because pretty much fend off Westlake, and like I said, that last game of the season that game with Westlake could determine who gets that last spot.
And the thing that I noticed here is Del Valle is second biggest school in the district.
Mm-hmm.
So if they qualify, that keeps Austin Bowie or Westlake at Division II. However, if they drop, then of course that opens up Division II.
Bowie would be D1.
D1, right? So I know it makes a difference. Doesn't make a difference because you want to just make the playoffs, and that's all that you want to do. But to me, that's the one thing that's when we're talking about the new format. That's where these things kind of matter is if you're on that fringe of going D1, D2, depending on the bracket. Moving to the ladies, Lake Travis 6-0-1, Westlake 4-0-2, Bowie 4-3, Austin High at 3-2-2, Dripping Springs a little disappointing at 3-3-1. Right now on the outside of for that here. Obviously, Travis and Westlake seem to be in pretty good spots. And I know we're talking about Dripping Springs being out, but they're out by half a game?
Half a game
is what they're out by. They have a draw where Austin Bowie does not. They got picked up the win. So the second round on this one will be very interesting for 3-4. Who finishes third, who finishes fourth.
Yeah, Dripping Springs. A little surprised Dripping Springs is in fifth right now, but I think they have a shot. Like I said, Lake Travis, still got the game with Westlake further down the road. Who wins that district title? Like I said, I'm a little surprised Westlake. Like I said, what they did last year, get to the state final. They're a young team. I thought they can be able to really kind of build on, be that dominant team. But like I said, they've kind of you can see a little struggle there, but still haven't lost a game yet. Still have their chances, to, like I said, that tie against Austin High, and then also with Lake Travis. Like I said, it's kind of set them back a bit. But can Dripping Springs overtake Austin High soon? I know they're gonna. I think more than likely, I think they are gonna play. I'm trying to see what date they're playing on.
And if Bowie does drop, that means Westlake would go to D1. So where that kind of really matters here, here, instead of being the first seed at D2, they would be the second seed at D1, assuming that they finish second to Lake Travis.
Which could happen too. So coming up on the schedules here. So tomorrow on Saturday, you have Austin High versus Dripping Springs. So that's basically an elimination game right there. Somewhat. Yeah. Well, not somewhat elimination, but as far as overtaking, as far as who start kind of get above. So if Dripping Springs can beat them tomorrow, they'll move up to the 4th spot, and then they got Austin Bowie right after that the following week. So technically, Dripping Springs can jump up to the 3rd spot with 2 wins these next 2 games.
Yeah. So moving to 27, Brandeis 7-1, Reagan 6-1-1, Johnson 5-3, Lee a little bit sleeping through the district. 4-2-2, Madison 4-3-1, and then I'm going to call it there. But a lot of expectations for Lee coming in, and I know they were young last year and they turned it on late. But through here, Ray was asking Rafa, what part of the valley is your relatives from?
Oh, my dad's from Brownsville. He's a former Brownsville Brownsville High School graduate before it became Hannah. So which I'm surprised the Hannah Eagles are not doing well, which we'll talk about in a bit.
They're out of 5 teams. They're
Yeah.
not in the playoffs. I'll just leave it at that.
So someone will give me a call soon over there. So yeah, Brand, like I say, yeah, Lee. Last year what they did last year, they made that run, like I said, and I saw them play. They made a really good Central Catholic team, who we picked to win state for TAPS. But I don't know if injuries kind of snuck on them on this right now. But Coach Rogers, he'll get them back in gear. It's just kind of trying to fend off Madison. Can they fend off Madison? But also, can they make their way up and try to get to the runner-out spot? Those Reagan, like I said, Reagan's great season for them. Like I said, they struggled early on. They're starting to kind of pick up the pace. They're within 1 game from the district title, and like I said, and that's what you want. You want to be, not say peak, but you're elevating your game each week, and that's what they're doing right now. Johnson, like I said, actually, when I was at the MAC and Legacy game, I was able to see.
They had a tough loss yesterday.
Yeah,
right?
Brandeis. Yeah, Brandeis. I think they won with like 15 seconds left or something like that. Kind of really late in the game. A big win for Brandeis, because that kept them in first place. Tough loss for Johnson, but Johnson, like I said, for all the players that they lost last year, to still be, like I said, they're still a great program. They're still in contention. They just have to be very careful here, not to lose. Don't let that loss kind of lose confidence on that and move forward. From this and try to stay on task, because, like I said, Madison's still in striking range, and you saw what happened last year. How Lee overtook a lot of these teams. So it's like I said, this will come down to the very end.
This is one of those districts where the ties are really hurting Lee, because you look, they've drawn Reagan and they've drawn Madison, which aren't bad, but like I said here, that's why they're in 4th on the bubble as opposed to Johnson. Just because they got those 2 draws. If they would have got a win, that would put them in a better position.
And even if Madison gets in, they still beat Division 2. So Reagan, like I said, pretty much Reagan and Johnson are pretty much locked into D1, unless
Johnson drops.
Yep, that would push.
They've got 3 losses. They're the one, and I know I said Lee's kind of on the bubble, and technically they are. And to me, the reason why I kind of say, hey, are they kind of struggling? Because going in, I had high expectations for them, and they're not playing poorly, but they're a little bit lower than what I anticipated.
Now they had a big win on Tuesday. They had a good convincing against Clark, that 6-0 win, and for them, they're hopeful that they can build upon that for tomorrow.
And I'm sorry, Roosevelt, but tough district for Roosevelt to be in. I'll just leave it at that. On the ladies' side, Reagan 6-2, Brandeis 5-1-2, Johnson 5-1-2, Lee 4-2-2, Clark 2-2-4, Madison 3-3-2. So I actually think Madison would actually be up above, because that's 9, 11, 6, 10. Yeah, so Madison should, I didn't do my math correctly, should be on the spot right outside of it. But Reagan getting the W's. Brandeis, Johnson holding strong. Lee holding strong. Clark, if they could have had one of those top draws into a win, would put them in a much better position.
Yeah, one of the key games was Brandeis and Johnson. Johnson got a big win, so it kind of put them. It's a 3-horse race there for the district title. And it's going to come down, like I said, between Johnson, Brandeis, and Reagan. I know Reagan and Brandeis still have to kind of lock horns. Same thing with Johnson. So that's a key there. Lee girls, like I said, they're gonna have to get some points from teams that are ahead of them, but also they're gonna have to have wins against Clark and Madison in order to kind of maintain that spot. But like I said, even in things can change too. If Johnson drops out, like I said, and Clark gets in, that pushes other Lee into D1. So it's still like I said, anything can happen, with this district. Like I said, this is one of the toughest districts for girls soccer here
Yeah,
in
so deep.
Region 4. Mhm.
28 boys. Warren 9-0-2. Brennan 6-1-3. O'Connor 6-2-3. Harlan 6-3-1. Marshall 5-4-2. The mighty Stephen Falcons at 4-6, and then Soto and Taft, unfortunately injuries and Holmes have been a long year, but you got to give credit to Warren. Like I said here, I think everybody thought they would be a quality team, but I don't think anybody had them, or at least nobody that I knew of had them winning the district, at least in this position for the district at this point.
Yeah, they're starting to pull away now because, like I said, now they have, like I said, they're at 29 points compared to the 21 points. So they got pretty much like a 3.5 game cushion over Brennan and also the O'Connor. So a couple more wins and it pretty much locks in that district title and that top spot for Division 2. Like I said, Brennan, I think they're getting a couple more wins. They'll lock in it too. Surprises Harlan kind of struggling this year, down on the 4th spot. If they get, like I said, Marshall's within striking distance.
One game.
And if Marshall wins, they'll end up going. Like I said, they'll be in the division. Like I said, in division. Actually, they'll end up being in division. Let's see. I'm trying to hear. They'll be in Division 1 by one student.
Oh, by one student, yeah.
Yeah, by one student. So that'll knock off. That would move down O'Connor to Division 2. Wouldn't that be interesting? Interesting scenario. What if they had the same amount of students and they both made the playoffs? Who would go D1? Who would keep T2? Would they have to flip a coin? I did
double check it through the UIL thing here of the standings because I was like, dude, it's one student. But yeah, that is very interesting to where.
That'd be an interesting topic to say. But let's say two teams are in the same, like I said, have the same attendance. Let's say if Marshall was 2601, who'd go to Division 1 or who goes to Division 2?
Because we know Warren's going Division 2 because it's not even close.
And then Brennan's going Division 1, so that's not the obvious there. So it's a little wild scenario for that.
But still, for O'Connor to go to Division 2 by one student, definitely interesting. Unfortunately for the girls, Marshall doesn't have to worry about that. For that here, hate to say that, Marshall, but Taft showing that they're still here. Warren for the ladies also very strong, 9-1-1. O'Connor 7-2-2. Sotomayor 5-3-3, and Brennan at 3-4-2, and then drawing the line there. And even I don't know if I almost want to draw the line at Brennan, but I know that's with the Northwest District or North Side District, pardon me. We've seen crazy things happen down the stretch, so I won't rule it out. But to me, I don't think Harlan's got enough to get back into it, based on recent performance.
Yeah, they're gonna have to really kind of knock out some teams ahead of them. But the key thing to hold this is we expected maybe Taft to kind of take a step back because of all the talent that they lost. Like I said, I still thought they were going to be able to get into the playoffs, but
not 11-0.
The role that they're in right now, they finally kind of, like I said, they got everything pieced together, and they're a very dangerous team. Like I said, I was able to I got to see them play a few weeks ago against Brennan, and I was impressed. Like I said, they very good defensively, good attack. It's a balanced attack, and like I said, so plus you have the best goalkeeper, probably in Region 4 too. Oh. So, we're probably one of the top ones in the state too, and she's been doing great. Kind of. She's taking that leadership role to currently get it going. But here's a key thing. So the 25th, which is next Tuesday, big game. um, Warren versus Taft, and if Warren has any ambitions to get back into that district, win the district title, it
They got
starts
to win
next.
that.
They got to win. They got to win that game. Um, so, and then Taft still got some tough ones. They got after that. They got a tough Sotomayor team who's trying to hold on to that last spot, trying to hold off of Brennan. Then they got Harlan, and then they got Brennan, and then big game against O'Connor on March the 11th. So like you mentioned, still kind of a little open race, but I think if Taft can get these next 2 wins, they're pretty much kind of lock in the playoff spot, and then we'll see from there.
29 Buddha, 4-1-1. Clemens, it seems like not too long ago we were like, hey, what's going on with Clemens? Well, they're back, 4-1-1. Still 3-1-2. San Marcos 3-2-1. Canyon, a little bit of surprise district. One of those where the draws are hurting them at 1, 2, and 3. But Clemens, like I said here, I've been guilty of this. It seems like every year where they have that rough non-district schedule, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And then district time, they seem to turn in. And what can you say about Buddha Johnson coming in and performing well?
Yeah, they've been the surprise here for 29 6A. Like I said, last year, like I said, they were in that with the district with Westlake and Lake Travis. Didn't really do much, but new start here, new opportunities, and they're taking full advantage of it. Should be interesting. Who, like I said, when that rematch and they play again versus Clemens coming up. I'm trying to see. Sorry, they'll play on.
While you're doing that, the US won 2-0 over Columbia in the She Believes in Houston, and 18 minutes left, 2-2 in the championship match, and the Four Nations face-off between Canada and the United States.
So they played Johnson on March the 4th at Clemens. So that's going to be a key. So, and actually Johnson did beat Clemens on the first go around 4-2 at Johnson. So, but tomorrow you have the FM 307 Clásico between Steele and Clemens. Key game there. If Steele can win, they get back into that district title race. So don't count them out. And then San Marcos, like I said, had a great season last year. Can they fend off Canyon? Canyon's gonna have to set up get some. Those ties kind of hurting them right now. They're gonna have to get some wins here, and they're gonna have to get some wins, especially the teams above them.
Judson, a little surprise.
Yeah, they may be rebuilding this year. I know last year they were competitive. A little surprised that they're towards the bottom of this
for the district. Yeah. Isn't there a new 3A Underdivision state championship? Not in soccer.
No.
It was discussed, but it did not get approved for this go around. I think next time that could possibly do would be 2 years from now, right?
It wasn't approved or it wasn't voted on. So we don't know. We don't know yet. There is interest from. Like I said, if you watch 50/50 podcast, we did discuss that. I think what it comes down to is, are there enough teams in 3A to make the districts to justify it? That's going to be the key there. So if there's any 3As out there that want to have soccer, if you have your own division, you're going to have to have your soccer team set up. And who knows? Remember, there's also 7A could be on the loop too. So everybody could probably get bumped up a division as well.
So moving on to the ladies, Sulo Steel 5-1, Canyon 4-1, Buddha Johnson 4-2, San Marcos and Clemens each at 3-3. For here, I just went by how Max Prep had it. Haven't looked at who won the tiebreaker just because it's too early to really be focusing on that right now, just to kind of get a snapshot. So 5 teams. Sorry, Judson and East Central for actually for the 4 slots. I think Steel and Canyon probably pretty comfortable. along those lines.
So the big thing for, like I said, tomorrow, like I said, you have Steele and Clemens facing each other, and you also have Buda Johnson facing San Marcos. So logic tells you more likely Johnson and Steele will probably win those games. So they'll be both of them still probably be 3-4. And the big game's going to be coming up. Like I said, San Marcos will host Clemens on the 25th of February. That could determine who gets that last spot of the playoffs.
Or who has the leg up on it, yeah.
Yeah, whoever gets the leg up, yeah. So that's gonna be the key there for that. And that they won't really change anything as far as Division 1, Division 2, because like I said, as long as Beto Johnson and Steele are in, they're gonna be, like I said, they'll probably end up going to Division 2 anyways.
Hold on, 474. And then moving to 30, Rafa's hometown area. Del Rio 6-1, 19 points. Eagle Pass 15. Laredo United, Laredo Alexander at 9. LBJ at 8. And even Medina Valley at 7. So it seems like the top 2 slots, Del Rio and Eagle Pass, which right now are Division 2, pretty comfortable. And then you've got the 3 Laredo schools and Medina Valley fighting for the final 2.
Yeah, like I said, Del Rio's, like I said, they're kind of exceeding expectations this year after some key losses from some players. So I know they had a win over Eagle Pass recently, and also I think last night they beat LBJ. So pretty much I think they got themselves kind of locked into the more likely they're going to get their playoff spot. Now, where they end up the first
depends on Medina Valley. Yeah,
it depends on the Medina Valley. That could change some things. Right now they have them at Division 2, but that could change. Alexander. What surprises me, Alexander's struggling, and I saw them play, and they have a great team. I really don't know if. And I'm probably because since I'm here, I'll probably have a little talk. Like I said, I'll be at United South tomorrow, and I'll probably talk to some of the players or some people here. What's wrong with them. Same thing with United too. United, they had a really tough schedule. They played some quality teams, and to be at 3-3, that's also surprising too. I thought those 2 teams would probably be running, in the running for the district title, and maybe Del Rio Pass kind of fighting for 3rd and 4th. Also LBJ, like I said, I was here at LBJ today. They told me, they're struggling a little bit too. I think they got hit by the injury bug as well. Medina Valley, like I said, still not out of it yet.
Tough to move up.
Yeah, but they're gonna have to make some moves here. They're gonna have to win some games. So it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna come down.
Well, they're one win out from the playoffs for it at this point. I know the point struck because if you look at the point structure, they've lost a couple, or lost one I think it's lost a couple in the shootout and won one in the shootout, if memory serves me right. But yeah, to me, Medina Valley, if they're able to sneak in, which I know you think Laredo United and Alexander are probably better teams at this time, but they're only 2 points out, so anything's possible. And who's to say Del Rio and Eagle Pass don't take a step back the second turn. Yeah. Looking at the ladies, Medina Valley is not struggling on this side here. They're perfect 7-0. Alexander 15 points, Laredo United 15, Del Rio 12, and then kind of a gap to 6. So you got a 6-point gap between Eagle Pass and Del Rio already. So this one, I know it's still early in the second half of the thing here, but Del Rio's and then the other teams are looking pretty solid at this point.
Yeah, Medina Valley is pretty much running away with this district. This should clinch it. They're going to win against Alexander United. Pretty much clinches it for them. Alexander and United probably pretty much going to be battling it out for, who gets the top seed for Division 1. And they actually play. Like I said, they'll play each other later down towards the end of the district season. And then Del Rio, I think, can they fend off Eagle Pass? I think they will. Like I said, they got a 2-game cushion. Unless something happens, they lose to United South, which like I said, anything can happen there. So they lose to United South, and even LBJ, and then Eagle Pass maybe goes, they go
Or
to
you
their
drop
place.
some points and PKs.
Yeah, and they that can change some things up. So like I said, not for sure locked in for Del Rio there, but if they're gonna get a couple wins, I think they can kind of distance themselves from Eagle Pass.
So 31 and 32 are smaller districts. So Edinburgh, Indomitis, 5-0, perfect. Edinburgh North, 12 points. La Jolla, 9. Weslaco, 6. And I know it's crazy to say Edinburgh at 3, and even far San Juan Alamo at 0. Still in it, but through here. But to me, that final, like I said here, I'm pretty sure the two Edinburgh schools are pretty comfortable as far as for North and Intermediates. La Jolla is probably in a pretty good position, but Weslaco and Edinburgh Bobcats, Edinburgh High, will be working it out to see who gets the 4th slot.
Yeah, Anaconda Medes has been the surprise this year. I know they made a good run last year, but especially like I said, what Edinburgh North did last year too, going into the regional final. But they're going to be a dangerous team in Division, like I said, in Division 1. So kind of keep an eye on them. Like I said, both Edinburgh schools will probably end up being D1. Depending Weslaco maintains.
Yeah, if Weslaco gets into it, then North goes to D2.
Yeah, so that can change. They can change some things there. But like I said, I think Weslaco. Like I said, the keys are just kind of fending off Edinburgh High. So that's the main thing there.
These 2 matches probably get you in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so one of those two will pretty much kind of lock you in there. Should be, like I said, it'll be interesting who they match up against in 32.
And then in 32, 31 for the ladies, Edinburgh and Medes 4-1, 13 points. Weslaco 4-1, 11 points. Edinburgh High at 3-2 at 8 points, and Edinburgh North 2-3, but also at 8 points. And then La Jolla at 5 points, and then call it with Far San Juan Alamo. I don't think they can make up the 8-point difference on the girls' side. But your thoughts on this one here? I think the top 2 teams are pretty secure. But do the Edinburgh schools hold off La Jolla?
Yeah, well, Weslaco, like I said, I'm a little surprised at the kind of second, but I think they'll overtake Anaconda Medes, I think, on this next go around. So pretty much, I think more like it's going to be all 3 Edinburgh schools with Weslaco in the playoffs, unless La Jolla can. Like I said, La Jolla is 1 game behind, so it's not out of. Mathematically they're not out yet, but they're going to have to. Like I said, they're going to have to step it up. So, but like I said, what you see right there is more likely what's going to. Those are your 4 teams representing that district.
And then we said we weren't going to talk about it, but Brownsville Hannah, 7 points out. Are we saying, hey, we're already locked in? Or probably no, only 3 points out, pardon me, because the San Benito's only got 1 win.
I think I'm getting a phone call. I'm getting a phone call from Hannah. Hey, you need to take over your dad's team. Your dad's a high school team. I'm a little surprised about that. Yeah. I'm gonna have to have a talk with my Uncle George. He coaches at Pace. Tell him, hey, what the heck is going on over there? But Los Fresnos, like I said,
well, we know what's going on. It's all the idea schools that are taking players, so we know that.
We know that. Los Fresnos, like I said, great season for them. As expected. I thought they would be challenged by Brownsville Veterans Memorial because, like I said, Veterans Memorial is moving up from 5A to 6A. But Veterans Memorial, is, like I said, they've built themselves a really good program. Still not, like I said, not out of it. Like I said, they can still overtake them. Harlingen, like I said, within a couple games, no gamies there, still have a chance. And then San Benito, like I said, just beat Hannah again. You're pretty much like yourself in the playoffs. Unless Hannah surprisingly beats them, who knows? Anything could happen there. So they might end up playing an extra game just to see who gets that first spot.
And then on the ladies, Los Fresno, 12 points, Harlingen 9, Brunswick Morin 6, your Brownsville Hannah at 3, and it's San Benito that needs to make the call pointless on the season so far for that here. So I hate saying it's early because it's not early because they've already played through here, but it's the problem with these small districts. Every game just matters so much that if you do drop points, it really, really hurts.
Yeah. Now, this district, we kind of knew that Los Fresnos and Harlingen High would be battling out for the district title. So I'm sure Los Fresnos got the best of Harlingen the first go around. I'm sure they're going to play again soon. So that could be, like I say, if Harlingen can get a win, they could end up splitting the district title. Veterans, I think, like I said, I don't see them. Like I said, I think they should take care of Hannah and San Benito. So those are going to, like I said, more likely that's going to be your 4 playoff teams for the girls.
All right, and then the final bracket here. Oh, somehow I didn't transition. And the scene. All right. So for 6A, Cedar Park, Vista Ridge, Dev Valley, Reagan, O'Connor. That's always a fun match. Buda, Alexander, Edinburgh, Intermediates, and Benito. Ray down South Texas Athletics saying 32-6A will play next Tuesday due to weather.
It's cold in Brownsville?
I think we're going to find that's probably more common than what we thought for it here. I know JV got canceled here. I haven't heard anybody saying varsity's been canceled, but I know Coach Cano kind of ended it something.
There was actually a game here last night here in Laredo. United South actually beat Alexander Boys. They played here at the SAC. And it was much colder yesterday than it was today. So I'm surprised that they canceled that game in Brownsville for 32.
I wonder if there's wet weather coming.
I think that's where, like I mentioned about the ice coming up. I think it's the rain's coming up to there, so that's probably a possibility there.
So, and then Buda Johnson, Laredo, Alexander, and then Edinburgh, Intermediates, and San Benito Greyhounds.
That I think, Cedar Vista Ridge, that'll be a tough game against Del Valley. Like I said, Del Valley's in a tough district too, so they got their hands full on that one. But I think Cedar Park Vista Ridge will win that one. Reagan O'Connor, that should be a fun one. I think you probably have to give the edge to Reagan on that one. Cedar Park versus Vista Ridge, that's going to be a good game. More likely you could see that game probably in San Marcos or Buda. Bottom half, Buda Johnson, they can't take Alexander lightly, and that's the thing. I don't know what's
well for the boys. You kind of favor, and I know Buta's an Austin area school, but Brownsville Laredo schools typically do pretty decent in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like Alexander, like I said, I don't know if it has to do with injuries. If that's why they're struggling right now. But like I said, that can go either way. It just depends where that game's at. Economides, I think, more likely will take care of San Benito. I think it might end up being Economides versus Reagan, or it could be Economides versus Vista Ridge.
Down at the bottom, Lake Travis, Westwood, Round Rock Westwood, Brennan Bears, Johnson, Laredo United, Steel, and Los Fresnos and Westlaco.
So Lake Travis, like I said, Westwood, that's gonna be a fun game to watch. That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a real fun one. We just still gotta get the edge. Like I said, that's gonna not a gimme game, but I think so. I think Lake Travis should win that one. But even the other game too, Brennan versus Johnson. That's gonna be
last year.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fun game. That's gonna be a real.
Or was
fun
it
game.
Brandeis? No, it was
I think
Brandeis that was moved. Yeah, it was Brandeis that was moved over. Never mind.
Yeah, so that's gonna be a fun game. That's gonna be a very fun game to watch, and I think evenly matched teams, uh, bottom half, United and Alec and Steel. That could be a trap game for Steel. They cannot take United lightly. I know they're struggling right now, but United is battle tested. That, like I said, Steel has to be wary of that game, and then Los Fresnos should take care of Westlaco. Um, you know,
I mean,
I
depends
think,
where those games are played, right? As far
yeah,
as like
yeah,
Laredo and Cibolo, probably be
yeah. I
down
could
in Corpus,
um, United and Steel. That could be a game in Corpus, or they could be
home and home,
um,
flip.
home and home. Yep, that's a possibility. Um, it's we'll see. For Los Fresnos, like I said, I think more likely, I think they get to the third round. Um, that could have set up a matchup or possibly with Lake Travis.
So moving to D2 for the boys, Vandergrift and Dripping Springs, Brandeis Harlan, Clemens and Eagle Pass, Edinburgh North and Harlingen, Edinburgh North and Harlingen. I got to correct that. You got to remind me to correct that. Get the two names on there.
Harlingen Cardinals, yep.
Yeah, Cardinal Chargers.
And I think you have Dripping Springs twice on there.
Do I?
Yeah. So that'd probably be was it be Austin Westlake? No, they're on the outside looking in, so that'd be because they were going with D2.
Yeah. Well, this is D2. So I have.
I think it would be Bowie, right?
Yeah. Well, Bowie would be D1.
Okay.
So yeah, Dripping Springs is the smallest school in D2. Yeah. So it should be Dripping Springs winner of. Okay, so yeah, that should be Austin Bowie.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be Austin Bowie.
Yeah, Bowie and Vandergrift would be a tough. That's a tough matchup there. Yeah, that'd be a fun. That'd be a good game to watch. But I think you got to give the edge to Vandergrift. I think they'll have a little more than what Bowie has this year. Like I said, Bowie's kind of little rebuild this year, but keep an eye on them for next year.
There we go. There we go. And then Brandeis and Harlan, and then Shirts or Clemens and Eagle Pass. Eagle Pass High.
So Brandeis and Harlan. Funny how you have two Northside schools playing each other in the playoffs. I think that one you have to give the edge to Brandeis.
Yeah,
I think
I don't think it'd be close, but yeah.
So Brandeis and Vandergrift. I think that's a rematch. That could be, that's a rematch from last year. I remember Steve telling me that Brandeis had the lead, and then Vandergrift just fully took over that game. And Brandeis is going to be wanting revenge on that one.
So the real Dripping Springs versus Round Rock McNeil, Warren and Lee, which is a tasty match that you wouldn't expect to see. Del Rio, San Marcos, and Brownsville Vets and La Jolla. But to me, Warren and Lee, and that's where having Lee in that fourth slot, that fourth slot really impacts that first round matchup to where, for Warren, hey, congratulations, winning 28, you get Lee.
Yeah, that's any of the teams. You can even pass them too. So, like I said, in order to be the best, you gotta play the best. So, like I said, this would be a tough test for them, But if they can get a win, it's a signature win for them.
Yeah,
Dripping Springs on the top, and you've seen Ron McNeil. That's going to be
they're tall. Yeah,
but Ron Rock. Dripping Springs, I know me and Steven covered them against Johnson. Very athletic team, and they got some speed on the wings. So that's going to be your back and forth game. They like to play that Morcina long ball, but they actually can do it accurate, pass it right. and that's an interesting matchup for those two. And then the bottom, Del Rio and San Marcos. Del Rio should not sleep on San Marcos. I know they last year they gave Johnson all they can handle last year. They're doing some good things there in San Marcos. That'll be a tough game for Del Rio. More likely that probably they'll play that game probably in San Antonio. And then La Jolla, Veterans Memorial, you got to give the edge to the Veterans Memorial. So this is kind of a little wide. Could be a wide open thing. I know maybe a Lee Dripping Springs rematch. Or something like that. You can see a matchup that'd be a fun one to watch, or Dripping Springs and Warren. So you're gonna have some interesting matchups going into the area and regional semifinal.
So moving to the ladies, Division One, Round Rock, Austin Bowie, Reagan, O'Connor, Steele, Laredo United, Edinburgh, Emies, and Harlingen. Gosh, I gotta fix it.
So Round Rock, like I said, I think for D1, they're probably the clear favorite or out of Region 4. And so they should have still be a competitive game against Bowie, but they should take care of business. Reagan and O'Connor, that's a good matchup there. That'll be a good game to go see if they do meet in the Pod District round. Steele and United, I think Steele should take care of business there. I think they'll beat United, and then Harlingen, I think, should take care of Dakota Media. So Steele versus Harlingen should be a fun matchup. I think that more likely that game you probably see them playing Corpus. Like I said, Round Rock. Like I said, whoever wins between Reagan and O'Connor, like I said, that still be a good matchup too as well. But I think more likely, if you see anyone get to the regional final, probably the favorite out of that quadrant right there is probably going to be Round Rock.
Bottom half, Lake Travis versus Westwood, Taft, Johnson, Alexander, Johnson, Buda Johnson, Los Fresnos, and Westlaco.
You get some heavy hitters here. Like Lake Travis girls, like I said, they can't take that Westwood Lady Warriors team lightly. That bracket buster possibility. Never know. We'll see. We'll see what Steve says on that one. Taft and Johnson. That's going to be a great game too if they do meet.
I wonder where they play that.
That's probably home and home. I would think.
Does it really? I guess does it matter for North Side, Northeast? Probably not, right?
It'd probably be at Ferris or probably a Comalander, one of those two. They're probably
which they play at quite a bit anyway. So
yeah,
and it's turf, so no big difference.
Unless they play at Back West or North Side 1 or 2. Beulah Johnson should take care of Alexander. That's there. But that's going to be interesting. Beulah Johnson versus Los Fresnos. That's going to be a great game. But I think Beulah Johnson I think they get to the regional semifinal. But here on the top of quadrant, man, those 4 teams, any of those 4 teams can go deep, get to that regional semifinal. So it's going to shame that, I know someone's going to be complaining about the matchups and all that. Oh, the good teams are losing. Well, like I said, you got to beat the best in order to get to state. So we might as well start early.
I do wonder. Well, we're already 2+ hours. I'll save this for maybe another night here. Division 2, Vandergrift and Austin High, Brandeis and Sotomayor, Canyon and Del Rio, Edinburgh High, and Brownsville Hampton.
Out of those teams, you're probably Austin Vandergrift probably be the favorite. No, I think Brandeis should take care of Sotomayor, but that's gonna be a good game between Vandergrift and Brandeis. I think, if Brandeis really wants to kind of make a statement, knocking off Vandergrift would be one, and I think Canyon should take care of Del Rio, and then probably Edinburgh and Brownsville. That could go either way. I think it can go either way, but I think you got to give the edge to Edinburgh, and then more like you probably see Canyon versus maybe Vandergrift.
bottom have Westlake, Cedar Park, Vista Ridge, Warren, Lee, Medina Valley, San Marcos, Brownsville Vets, and Edinburgh North to round out the second bottom of the 6A Division 2.
Yeah, Westlake. That's a tough matchup with Vista Ridge. It's not a gimme game, but it's gonna be a test for them. But I think you got to give them the edge. Warren Lee, that'll be like the boys, the girls. They're gonna lock horns too.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So they may play they game back to back, whether it's at Northside or Ferris or they're at Comelander. That should be a fun one. That should be a fun game. Like I said, Warren's got lots of talented players. Like I said, I think that's a good balanced game. Medina Valley, I think they should no problem with San Marcos, and I think the way this plays out, I think Medina Valley could make it to the regional semifinal. I think they should have no problem with Bettis Memorial or Edinburgh North. So they may end up playing Westlake.
So, got through a lot of the brackets, some first time. Some interesting matchups.
Mm-hmm.
Getting you prepped for bracketology, which we'll have to kind of nail down once we get a little bit closer. Hopefully Steve's doing his homework. There's about 2.5 minutes left in the Four Nations face-off here. Been a pretty fun game to have on in the background. I think I only had 4 missed typos. Not bad, for all of it. Since a lot of it's manual and trying to do it in late at night or in between stuff at work. For that here, Rafa, safe travels back, especially if you're coming back this weekend. Because I thought the storm was supposed to be gone, but it seems like it's sticking around a little bit longer. Obviously, if you got pets, make sure to bring them in tonight and tomorrow. It looks like again. If you're going out to support the kids, if they are playing, if they do end up playing, make sure you dress warm. If you can, for your players, make sure they got gloves in this weather, and a long sleeve shirt. For that here, I know AJ's, I don't need it, but at least if they have it, because I won't. I work carry. I get a paycheck. I'll just leave it at that. So I am on a recorded line, so of course I always work hard, and I only do things on my break for that here. So, but no, just like I said here, make sure pets and the kids, if you are playing. I know you're young and all that, but make sure, especially this weather, our bodies aren't used to it. Make sure the hands, feet are warm, as well as protect the arms and stuff. So, thoughts, Rafa? Closing thoughts that you have? I know we kind of covered a lot. Gave you a little bit more homework tonight, going through the brackets.
We're giving their money's worth. a little taste before bracketology. Just I guess first thoughts. Just like I said for tomorrow, just be aware of the weather tomorrow. It is going to be, like I said, make sure you check on X for updates from games. A lot of their teams have, like I said, some are reporting moving up the games up to like 4:30, 5 o'clock. So be aware of that. So a lot of you mentioned the JV games are being canceled. Some games may get postponed to Saturday. We're not sure because the weather hasn't. I think San Antonio is expecting freezing rain or sleet from Friday into Saturday. So be careful on the road. So drive safe, drive slow. Especially also the students be safe on the bus going back to their schools. And like I said, we're kind of in the middle, kind of the halfway point for a lot of the district races. And it's still, anything can happen. And like I said, if the team can get hot, and this is kind of the time you want to get hot, going into the playoffs, and we'll see who's really now the contender. Like I said, we're starting to see kind of everything kind of balance out. There are some teams that maybe struggled on early. Now they're starting making their moves now. So like I said, if I get to the rankings, like I said, things are gonna start changing up. It's kind of even things out, as you can say. Uh, so, but should be some interesting. Like I said, there are some interesting games coming up tomorrow, some rivalry games, and also coming up next week. As you have a chance to get out there, just kind of bundle up, and then thanks for the support. Just make sure follow us, hit the like button.
Do you have a question here for you? Because TAP's playoffs are going on right now. What happens with that? Because I do know that there's a certain temperature, if it's below, that both teams have to agree to play. TAP's already plays on a pretty tight schedule as it is. So that'll be something to look out for. Because this storm's not only affecting San Antonio if it's going all the way down where you're at, but like North Texas, the Panhandle, and I know a lot of these private schools are Dallas, Fort Worth area, Houston, and San Antonio, and 35 in between there, primarily where they're at. But if you're talking about all the DFW schools, and I know there's a school in Bryan, I think, through there. I'm not sure whether in Houston how cold it is over there, but looking at the She Believes, it looked like it was cold because everybody was bundled up as well. That'll be something to kind of look out for this weekend to see how TAPS does it. So if you are supporting one of the TAPS programs or in a way to go out and then watch the playoffs or the TAPS teams, for that here, make sure that you're reaching out to them to see what it is, because hopefully for player safety, it's one of those. It says round 2 for TAP starts Monday or Tuesday. I thought it started. I'd have to go through and look at it here. I know it's relatively quick turnaround. Hopefully it is Monday or Tuesday because I know. Oh, that's right. The regional play or the bye district was supposed to be today. But yeah,
and we have a lot of teams that with the buys or the double buys.
Yeah, so. But Geneva is the one that throws me off because they played before it was inserted.
So congratulations to them too, winning the My District title for TAPS. So.
Yeah, they won 6-0 for that here. But thank you for everybody tuning in. As Rafa mentioned, please like, please follow. If you do catch this on the podcast, like I said, we do have the video uploaded. If you want to if you want to see the brackets, you can always go to YouTube for that here. The link's in the description for that here. But thank you for everybody for tuning in. Thank you to Ray and Ali Purr and Coach Kano for comments. And of course, if you ever have comments for the great Rafa, not necessarily for me, but for the great Rafa. And hopefully we'll get Steven as we get closer so he can, put his knowledge to the test as well. But what's life without goals? We're out of here. Let's hit the button here.